check the Wi-Fi there. It's not letting me go live. Has the cord been pulled out that connection? Hi everyone, this is Zaria here. Glad to see you here. I just had a challenge with my Wi-Fi, but it looks like it's working. So let's have a look at how to stop scapegoating. Right, so the first one is, let's look at how to stop it in a group. What's essential is that everybody in the group is willing to look at it together, because it is a systemic thing where people don't own their own issues and they put it on somebody else, whether they're the messenger, whether it's somebody of a different race, neurodiverse person, somebody that makes them more direct or share what they think, that especially in the UK society, everybody has to smile and then gossip behind somebody's back rather than deal with whatever issue there is. So those sort of people often get scapegoated. But everybody in the group needs to invite people to see the impact of scapegoating. If you missed the video on the impact of scapegoating, just check in the video section and you'll find it there. Because it's a huge impact on both the person who's scapegoated and the person who's doing the scapegoating. And it's essential too to recognize that, and it's really hard to do when you're being scapegoated, to recognize that the person who's doing the scapegoating, it's reflexive, it's not done on purpose. They mostly are not doing it because they're mean, evil, horrible people. They're doing it because that was the programming in their childhood. That was how they learned to avoid the issues that are there. I'm just wondering if the video has suddenly gone off. Okay, I'm hoping that it works, but if not, I'll have to redo it another time. I'll check it afterwards. And then the other essential thing is for everybody to look at their own childhood wounds and process them. Because if you're not looking at your own childhood issues that happened, of where you were not heard and met, where you had anger taken out on you, if you expressed what you're feeling, then you will repeat that on other people. So that's how to stop it in the group. Let's look at how, if you are the person who scapegoats others, who makes them wrong, what can you do? I just want to share quickly that if you're finding this beneficial, I'd love you to share it with other people. And if you're somebody who gets triggered by all of this, come and join the Tame the Triggers workshop. I'll put the little link down below. You can sign up there. We start soon. And if you're watching a replay in months to come, you can sign up there for the waitlist and you'll get a notification when the next Tame the Triggers workshop is. So let's look at the actual scapegoater. Can they change? Will they change? They've got potential to change, but it's their choice to stop that behavior. So the first thing is noticing that they're being governed by a critical self that imposes how people should feel, what they should think, and what they should do. And so they want people to be nice. They want them to be a certain way. They tone police people and tell people who they have to be, and then scapegoat one person. And they need to actually be willing to look at that and go, I don't like how this makes me feel or them feel, and I'm going to process and learn skills. Okay, the sentence, I wish I'd changed it because they have to learn to stop making other people wrong or trying to fix them. Like in this latest scapegoating situation, I had somebody trying to shift what I was feeling, what I was thinking about different situations, like just be happy and nice so it's more comfortable, instead of going, I really care about what you're feeling. You matter to me. When you're fixing and controlling how somebody else feels and expresses themselves, that's not love. You've got to face your own issues of why am I not comfortable with somebody dealing with an issue, or how other people feel if it's not happy and nice and good and sweet. Why do I want to control them rather than face my own emotions? If they can own what's wrong in them and take responsibility and take action to heal themselves, they'll break that scapegoating pattern. It's essential for the person who's a scapegoater to be authentic, because often they'll make somebody else wrong and not share their own feelings in a healthy way, and they'll put it on that other person instead of processing their own feelings, expressing them in a healthy way. Because if they don't do that, they will end up just getting stuck triggers until they take it out on somebody. And part of that is that they didn't receive those skills in childhood. So they don't know how to face their childhood wounds and heal their past. Like there might have been sibling rivalry, where there was one child who was a goody two-shoes and another child who was somebody who expressed themselves, who rebelled, and that child got punished. So then the moment that anybody expresses themselves, they go into this mode where they're trying to make this one good and nice because it feels scary and uncomfortable. So they need to process that dynamic so that they don't repeat the past of scapegoating somebody who's expressive, who's a messenger, who's a truth seeker. They need to see, what is it that they're projecting onto the person? Is it that they have shared a message they don't like? Is it that they, what their personality is like? What is it about that? And then they need to look at it and ask, why do I struggle with this? Why am I making them wrong? What is in my past or in my personality that makes it hard for me to be with this issue? Is it that I don't know how to set boundaries? Is it that I don't know how to express my anger? Is it that I victim shame other people because that's what happened in my past, where the people who were bullying or abusing never took responsibility for their own actions? So you need to look at, why am I making somebody else wrong and not facing this? What it is in me that is needing healing so that I can either set healthy boundaries, express myself, and have healthy connections with people rather than self-sabotage, make them wrong, and become toxic. They need to grow the skills to speak up and share themselves healthily rather than allow the things to build up, and grow the skills to empathy and repair. Empathy is being able to see, what is the scapegoat feeling, and really being with it rather than controlling them, going, I'm just going to dump and make you wrong, and then we're going to put a boundary on and you can't tell me what you're going through. That's often what happens. And they need to be able to say, hey, this is what I am struggling with, and I want to know how that is for you, that you actually care about the person that you're scapegoating, and then repair and go, okay, I can see I'm struggling with this skill and I'm going to learn that. And I can see what I did. I was wrong to treat you that way. I empathize. This is what I'm going to do to put it right. And this is how the skill that I'm going to grow in order to treat you well. And finally, let's look at how to stop it for the scapegoater. Now, there are generally three ways. You can acquiesce, you can fight, or you can flight and leave. Now, acquiesce just goes, I'm just going to pretend that I am going to just be how they want me to be. I'm going to fit in. I'm going to stop saying what I was saying. I'm going to silence myself and be who they want me to be. Basically, I'm going to conform to get their love. But sadly, it's not real, because if you are conforming and masking who you are to fit in with other people, then you betray yourself. You lose your sense of self to fit into other people who don't honor and accept you. And this is a reasonable thing to do when you're in a family where you are not loved, where they're scapegoating you, and that's what you have to do to survive. But it does lose your sense of self when you're an adult and you don't know what you like, you don't know what you think, because you're so used to thinking, what is this group think here? And let me fit in there rather than stand out. So, for example, in my family, there was racism from my dad, and my brothers would go along with it. And I would say, why is that funny? How do you think that person feels you saying that? And so I would get scapegoated and made wrong rather than them going, this isn't okay. But my brothers just acquiesced and became like that for my dad's love and acceptance. And I would rather not have that love because I'm not going to tolerate racism. And it meant that I was called all sorts of names and rejected because of that. But I wanted that integrity rather than that love that I felt was toxic. But it's understandable for many people who've done that because they don't want to. They would rather abandon themselves and be loved in the family than abandon the family and struggle with that lack of love. For me, that toxic love wasn't healthy, and so I chose to walk away. The other thing is to fight it and to go, this is what you're doing, this is how I feel, this is what I need, and point out what the possibility of change is. But mostly, and this is what's just experienced for me, that I've done in the scapegoating situation that's gone on, is that mostly the wrongness then just got pointed at me, that I'm wrong for sharing that or saying it in the wrong way, or that it just continues. What has been helpful about fighting it is it reinforced why the situation was happening, from one person being dismissed and gaslighted and bypassed, and from the other person being silenced, controlled, made wrong, and judged. And so in fighting, I really got to see just how stark that the scapegoating was in different ways from the two people who were doing it. And the third person, I got to see too in that of their underlying current of me. And even though it was like I felt burnt out and agonized by it, it gave me clarity on, I don't want to be treated like that. But it took so many weeks for me of processing that. And what would have, I think now, looking back, been healthier is just to have left the moment that I noticed the scapegoating. When I said, I'm leaving, I wish that I'd ended all contact and communication, because I could see that there wasn't going to be a deep processing and change. I could see that they were fixated on who they were going to be. And if I wanted to be in that, I had to acquiesce and be how they wanted me to be. And I can't do that. I have more integrity for my own self and confidence in who I am and knowing what is healthy and right for me. So in doing that, you can honor your own integrity and choices. Know that you can't change anybody else in the world. The only thing you can do is walk away from that. And in staying authentic with your feelings, regardless of being controlled or silenced or scapegoated, of knowing that you matter, your feelings matter, and choosing to be in relationships with people who validate you, who let you know that what you feel is okay. And then you can connect with those who are like you, who take responsibility, who honor their word, who take action, and who won't scapegoat you for being somebody who wants to be purposeful, deliberate, and create things in the world. You need to really take notice, like from the start, be discerning of who is healthy and who isn't. If from the start you notice that people are not going to take responsibility and don't really see you or value you, then you are wasting your time, your energy, your gifts with people who don't care. If you're noticing that the relationship is really imbalanced, where you're giving and giving and giving and giving, and they're taking, the moment that you set a boundary, they will start to attack you. And that's just the dynamic of where somebody is overgiving. So you need to notice, is the relationship nourishing, mutual, and reciprocal? If you are sharing what you're feeling and a boundary and they're not honoring it, don't continue that, because ultimately what they will do when you call them to account is they will double down on how wrong you are and how wrong your behavior is, instead of them taking integrity, rising up to integrity and taking responsibility for themselves. I shared that boundary setting was really important. And then finally, a friend of mine shared with me that she has a big note on her door that says, "Don't gaslight yourself." Frequently in scapegoating, people are so strong about it that they really double down that it is your fault and you don't deserve to be treated well. And when they do that, it leaves you feeling like you are not lovable, and you begin to think there's something wrong with you. You need to stand in your integrity and know that you deserve love, you deserve kindness, and you deserve so much goodness in your life. If you struggle with that and you're getting triggered by scapegoating, come and join the Tame the Triggers workshop so we can help you love yourself, set healthy boundaries around toxic relationships, and really learn to love yourself no matter what you're going through. I'm sending you love, and it's been a joy to be able to do this with you. All right, I'm Zaria, and I'm sending you love. Goodbye.